Hello, today's our final lesson, lesson 6. We're going to look at circle graphs today. We know quite a bit about circle graphs already, so we're just going to use this vocabulary word and ask what conclusions can you draw about this circle graph. I would like you to pause and write some things down yourself, and then I will write some things down as well. So first, one thing I notice about this graph is that it is clearly about our favorite seasons. So you can put favorite seasons listed. Also, I notice that winter is the least favorite season. Winter is the least favorite. Summer and spring are both a tie for the most favorite. So we could put summer and spring, tie for the most favorite. We could also say that all of the percents add up to 100%. All the percents equal 100%. Okay. There's lots of other things you could say about this circle graph as well. You could say that fall is the second least favorite or the third favorite. You could say that there are going to be, I don't know. Maybe this depends on when our favorite season, maybe what season it was. Maybe it was summer or spring when they asked this. So that's not an actual conclusion we can draw from this, but we could make some or ask some questions about why the data is what it is. One other thing that we know about circles in general, we're going to get to this later on our fourth slide, but the whole circle is 100%, but 100% of the circle is also 360 degrees. So the entire circle fills up, it's 360 degrees. It makes up the entire circle. So we're going to look at this circle graph. This is a different one. This was asked by students. It says how students want to be remembered. So when you leave middle school or when you leave high school, how do you want to be remembered? 54 people said that they wanted to be remembered as the most likely to succeed afterwards. 18% said that they wanted to be remembered as the class valedictorian. Valedictorian means that they have the highest GPA. And so on. 11% best athlete, 8% class clown, 5% most popular, and 4% said something else. So we're going to answer these 4 questions. It says, what percent of students want to be remembered as a class clown? They're asking for the percent, so we can just list it. Class clown was 8%. What percent of students want to be remembered as an athlete or the most popular? So if we have 2 things, we're going to take those 2% and simply add them together. This or this, we're adding those 2% together. Athlete was 11%. Most popular was 5%. So total, 16% of people said they wanted to be remembered as an athlete or the most popular. Next, what percent of students do not want to be remembered as the most popular? So we know most popular was 5%. So we could add up all the other percents to figure out what percent did not want to be remembered as that. Or we know that the whole circle is 100%. So we could just subtract the 5% that do want to be remembered as most popular to get 95% that did not want to be remembered as the most popular. They wanted to be remembered as something else. And the last one, this one's a little bit more in depth. It says, if your class has 195 students, meaning your whole class, like the 7th grade, how many want to be remembered as most likely to succeed? So this is a problem where you can set up a proportion or use a percent equation. So part out of total, percent out of 100, or part equals to total times the percent as a decimal. So we know there's a total of 195 students surveyed. And we know most likely to succeed, that was 54%. So I'm going to use a percent equation. 54% as a decimal would be 0.54, 54 hundredths. That will give us the part, or the number of people that do want to be remembered as most likely to succeed. How many people that is, not the percent. If you set up your proportion, you would need X on the top. The total was 195 people, and you knew the percent was 54 out of 100. Cross multiply. So when I solve this, 195 times 54 hundredths, we get 104 or 105.3. However, we're talking about students. We can't have a 0.3 of a student. So to the nearest full student, we would have 105 students for our answer. Let's flip to the back side. This one is talking about our favorite subjects in school: history, science, art, math, and English. So key words here: if there were 247 surveyed, how many people liked each of the following? We're talking about people, so we need to have a whole number. So first, let's look at art. Art was 5%. We know there were 247 people surveyed. I'm going to use the percent equation just because it makes my life a little bit easier. So each one, I'm going to take our total number of students, which is 247, and I'm going to multiply by the percent as a decimal. So first, this first percent for art, 5% is 5 out of 100. That's 0.05 or 5 hundredths. So if I multiply those, 247 times 0.05, we get 12.35. But like we just said, we can't have a partial student, so that would just be 12 students. Then we're going to do the same thing for math. There were 247 people that were surveyed, times the percent as a decimal for science. 15% out of 100%, that's 0.15. So 247 times 0.15 gives us 37.05. We're going to just keep our whole number, just 37. Math is 35%, same number of people surveyed, 247 times math, what do we say, 35%, so 0.35. Just move the decimal 2 spots to get our percent as a decimal. So 247 times 0.35, 86.45 is really just 86 because it's 0.4, that's less than 5, you round down. History, we have 20%, so 247 times 0.2, or 20 for 20%, 247 times 0.2, that is 49.4, or just 49 because we're talking about whole number of students, how many people. And then English was 25%, so 247 times 0.25. This one is 61.75. Because our decimal here is greater than 5, we round up to 62 whole people. So those are the answers that we're looking for. If you set up a proportion for each of these, that works as well. It's just a lot more work. This last one is where we need to take our time and be extra careful. It says, the table shows the results of a survey that asks students how many siblings, meaning brothers and sisters, they have. Display the data in a circle graph. So this doesn't really tell us a whole lot. We just need to take this information and put it in the circle graph. They're already telling us the percent of each. We simply need to take the percent and turn it into how many degrees is that total. So you can set up a proportion, part out of total, percent out of 100. And if we do that for this first one, our percent is 8% out of 100%. Our degrees, our total number of degrees in a circle are 360, as you can see. So that would always be your total, 360. And you need to figure out what part or how many degrees is 8%. We know it's 8% out of 100, but how many degrees is that in terms of a full turn? Or you can use your percent equation. Part equals total times the percent. In that case, this first example, our total is 360 degrees times our percent as a decimal, be 0.08, and that will give us the part of the circle that we need to make. So if I solve this one, that part of our circle, 360 times 0.08 is 28.8. I'm just going to round to the nearest whole degree. So this would be 29 degrees. Oops, not percent, degrees. So I'm going to draw a line down from 0 to the middle and then over to 29. It's right next to 30 there. So this is 29 degrees. That's 8% of the circle. So the first one's always the easiest. The next couple are a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to look at now with one sibling. That's 47%. So our total number of degrees is 360 times our percent as a decimal, 0.047. That will give us, the part of the circle that we need. 360 times 0.47 is 169.2. I'm just going to go 169 degrees. So we are not going to put a mark at 169 degrees, which is going to be right about there. No. Okay? Because that would be if we're starting from 0. Think about it this way. If these were 2 pieces of pizza and you're putting them in the box, this piece is already taken. You can't put another piece of pizza on top of that. We need to put our pieces next to each other. So we need to start right here from 29 degrees and figure out, well, we need to go 169 more degrees around the circle. So 169 plus 29 gives us 198. So we need to put our mark right here at 198 degrees. That will show that this section is 169 degrees. Okay? So far we have, this is how many people had no siblings? None. This is how many had one sibling. Now we're going to go to 2 siblings. I'm going to erase this so we know where we're at. So right now on our circle we're at 198 degrees. And next we're going to need to figure out how many more degrees do I have to go. So 35%, so our total is 360 degrees, times 35% as a decimal is 0.35. That gives us, this one turned out nice, 126. We're talking about degrees, so 126 degrees. So from here, we're going 126 degrees. So 198 plus 126 gives me 324. So this is the number of people here, or the angle measure, that had 2 siblings. And then this last section would be 3 or more, but we do still need to figure out the degrees. So for this last one, 360 times 10%, or 0.1, will give us the part of the circle that we need to fill in. 360 times 0.1 is 36. From 324 to 360 is 36 degrees. That's the amount that had 3 or more siblings. 3 or more. So the trickiest part here is knowing that you have to go in a circle and put the pieces next to each other. We're not overlapping. You're starting where you left off from the previous number. Good luck on your homework. There is a question like this on the front side right here.